Welcome, guys, to the 42nd episode of the Dapper Gaming Podcast for December 15th. With me, as always, Tyler. And special guest this week, Newton Wallen, a.k.a. Newt, formerly of Underbelly and Nerwall Films.
There you go.
That's a thing he's still in.
Yeah. I'm still kind of in Underbelly. I just don't live there anymore. I'm still gonna write and whenever they need me to do stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna get so much more popular without me. Oh, my dryer just went off. What's going on, boys?
Not too much.
A lot.
So, I guess we'll start off with some stuff about Midnight Show. So, I guess I'm assuming you're still working on Midnight Show, because when I talked to Justin, like, during the summer when I first started talking to Justin, he said, like, everyone in Underbelly was contributing to it in some way, but it was, like, very much your film.
Yeah. Midnight Show actually, like, the reason that Underbelly started was because of that. We were making a 3-act narrative ghost movie set in a movie theater. And the guy who was putting up the money for it was extradited back to Greece for not paying taxes since probably like 1984. So we're like, oh, what do we do now? We have these people together. And then Justin knew the Angry Video Game Nerd, and he knew Sean, and we all knew, you know, Justin and I used to work with Frank. So we put Underbelly together instead, and we did that for 3 years. And there was some starts and stops, and we didn't really know what was going on. So for the last year and a half, we've been working on Midnight Show, which is this kind of cool mixtape of different filmmakers and friends of ours and cameos, all doing fake Grindhouse trailers and animation and all kinds of cool, weird shit, you know?
Yeah,
it's almost done. We're almost there.
Yeah, like, I guess you guys released a teaser sometime during the summer. Or like the official, like the first trailer, I guess.
Yeah, we cut. We did an episode for free just to get free Facebook likes and mooch off of our Underbelly subscribers. And we cut a trailer that wasn't a sales trailer. It was just something to go, there's naked boobs and monsters in this, so people would go, I like both of those things. It's like, you know. So yeah, it was a cheap way to get the subscribers we already had to kind of go over and look at this movie, so I look like I'm like super famous and popular. I'm none of those things. Sitting in the dark right now, masturbating with my own tears.
So, you just moved to Arizona like very recently. Why'd you move to Arizona, if you don't mind me asking?
I wasn't really doing anything with Underbelly. The movie is almost done. I have a comic book that I'm working on with Mark Polton, who writes Savage Hawkman for DC Comics. It's almost done. And this is where my girlfriend lives, so this is where I am right now. I'm running a movie theater out here. I'm trying to get a tan, which isn't working that well, you know.
You're just like all of the other white nerds. We can't tan. We just get all burnt and gross looking.
See, I don't consider myself... nerd is the N-word, you know?
Geek.
I was telling somebody recently how there was an article. It's like, it's the year of the nerd because of Big Bang Theory and Thor 2.
Oh, well, all of that stuff is just awful and not geek or nerd related.
Yeah, so we need to bring bullying back, because bullying keeps the balance of things, and I think that it'll be good. I want to go to like PAX East and conventions like that and set up BullyCon across the street and just have like a bunch of big like football players making guys kind of anxious about going in or not.
Are you allowed back at PAX East? Because
no, I'm banned from PAX East.
Yeah, Justin showed me the footage that got you banned, and I didn't know if you just got kicked out for this year or if you're banned.
No, I got banned and I got death threats.
That's crazy, because I saw that shit.
I lost my job because of that.
What?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
And then Megan Marie, when she saw the footage, she was like, oh, you must be really proud of yourself to prove me wrong. So I saved that email. I was like, what a fucking cunt.
Yeah, like, I saw that footage because Justin, like, just sent it to me when we were, like, bullshitting one day. And it was, like, not a big deal. Especially because, like, he explained the setup, like, you asked them and told them what you were going to do.
Yeah. And they
all agreed.
Yeah, and two of the girls who were supposed to be so outraged have both friended me on Facebook since and send me all kinds of funny shit. Fuck feminism. It's like, oh, let's worry about, things that don't really matter as much. Like, not that sexual harassment's a bad thing, but that girl was using that opportunity to just go up there to get more likes to her modeling page and to get up on the fucking cross. If she really cared about what was going on at these conventions, she would be using her fandom to do panels about, safety female cosplaying or empowering female characters in pop culture. Why does Wonder Woman have to have her boobs out? Why doesn't Superman have to have his dong out? It was just a chance for her to get some headlines at the expense of some dude that nobody knows on a web show that nobody cares about.
Yeah, well, it's kind of in a related industry, I guess, which would be like the computer industry. At least when you look at this is a video game con, the same thing happens at other cons like PyCon, not necessarily with cosplaying. It's for Python. So there's not a lot of cosplaying. There's a lot of professionals there learning about Python. It's a language. And there were these two dudes who lost their jobs because one of them said they used the word dongle as during a speech about dongles as a euphemism for penis and made a joke about that. And the woman sitting in front of them flipped her shit, got them kicked out and fired from their jobs. And that was also this year, roughly around the same time that you got kicked out of PAX East. So it's kind of a similar issue where people are blowing shit way out of control, especially in not necessarily what's a private conversation, but certainly not a big deal.
See, I could care less. I took her on in very public forums because, look, if you're going to get famous for being an asshole, then fine. I'm an asshole then. Go ahead. I told a joke that they told on Conan O'Brien 12 years ago, and I told it poorly, and I'm the bad guy. So I was just like, you know what, bitch, whatever. And don't worry about the fact that women aren't paid as much in the workforce, and that's real feminist things. Let's worry about, a guy making a joke. Like, had I grabbed one of those chicks' tits or something like that, then it would have been a problem. But unfortunately, I was raised by a feminist. So when she wanted to battle me, a lot of people started to come to my defense because they were like, wow, this is crazy that this is what's happening, but whatever. Who cares? PAX sucks anyway. Boston's a toilet.
I like Boston, but then again, I only live in a shitty fucking small town in Canada now. So the difference... It's not even a small town. It's the goddamn capital of the province. There's just fuck all to do here. There's a lot of people living here. There's just nothing to do.
We're nice to Canada now because when we run out of natural resources, Operation Leaf Blower...
You need our water.
Yeah. And
our water isn't poisoned.
I'm good because I got the Great Lakes.
There you go.
Half of those are Canada's. Fuck you.
Half of those?
Yeah.
Who's going to stop us?
At least half of them.
Well, no.
So yeah, I'm not allowed to go back to PAX, but I don't really like video games, so it doesn't really bother me in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah, I mean, your thing's always been like movies and comic books more so than video games anyways. Which is mostly why we're not going to talk about video games today.
But I mean, if you guys wanted to talk about like Tetris or NHL 94, I could probably kick in.
We'll talk about some NHL.
There you go, man.
It's got to be the old ones, though.
Yeah, it'll be the Quebec Nordiques or something like that.
So yeah. What else are you working on? Do you have any plans now that you're out in Arizona, to do your own thing for YouTube or anything like that? Any interest in that?
Yeah, I mean, Paperboy came out, was pretty successful. That was something that I wrote it for Underbelly 3 years ago and nobody wanted to do it. And I always thought it would be a really good idea. That finally came out and that did pretty well. So I'm getting a lot more people emailing me about doing other fake trailers. And I have one that I wrote for Underbelly that I want to do that's Pokemon themed because that's kind of their bread and butter. And everybody kind of agrees that it's a badass script and could probably go viral. So we'll see. But out here, I met some filmmakers and we're throwing around ideas. I don't really have the time right now because of work and stuff like that and worrying about Midnight Show. But I have a few ideas of some videos I'd like to do, kind of taking on some of the YouTube trends that I don't really like very much. And, we'll see what happens.
Oh, we're going to talk about YouTube trends.
Oh, okay, good.
So, I guess there's only really 2 topics worth talking about this week related to what we normally talk about on this podcast. One of them is SteamOS. I don't know. So, it's pretty... You know Valve, right?
Yeah, I saw Justin's video.
They're releasing a, their own kind of console. It's not a console. It's a PC. It's just regular PC parts. But they made their own operating system for it that's Linux-based, so that anyone can use for free. So it's basically like Android, but a real operating system for PCs. And they're basically making a bunch of small contained gaming PCs for the living room.
Okay.
And so they went into beta this week for the hardware as well as the operating system, which they distributed for free on Friday. They released it, I think. Mm-hmm. So that was something that we were going to briefly talk about, just because, or mention at least, because it's a big thing related to gaming, and this is supposed to be a gaming podcast, even though
go ahead. I'll sit back and just make faces.
Don't worry. We'll do some other stuff, because that's really all there is to say about it. I mean, I don't know. Tyler, did you look at it or even use it?
No, I don't really have any interest in the operating system, because I don't want to... I'd have to have on my hard drive or wipe my hard drive or something, so I was like, eh. But I saw... You have to have a clean hard drive for that, don't you?
No, you can install 2 operating systems on the same drive. They just have to be different partitions.
I don't know if I'd have enough room on my solid state, but anywho, I saw the box for it, and that's pretty sweet. That's about all I saw though. The controller, and then I was an Engadget article about it, but they only had one picture, because I think all of them are unique in a way. They said they drilled the hole in the fan vents. I don't know. I think it's so they know which one it is. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming they don't want their 300 exclusive beta units that they shipped out on Friday to just mysteriously show up on eBay. So
yeah, that's
not be trackable.
Yeah,
especially because some of those have $4,000 of hardware in them.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Well,
there's ones that ship with Titans in them. Those are $1,000 graphics cards.
They haven't even announced the pricing for the controller yet, have they?
No.
So I mean, they don't have the touch service. They just have the keys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not as expensive, but still. Yeah, so I'm interesting, but I don't really have the means to get any of it yet. The operating system. So.
Since it's Linux and it's really early, I haven't bothered to download it yet because I don't have days to fuck around with it to try to get it to work. So
yeah, I'm on break, so it kind of would be a cool time to mess around with it. So
yeah, I'm hoping to have used it before January.
Yeah.
So
gives me ideas.
And what games would be on there?
There's all of the games by Valve are on there. And there's basically all the games that are on Steam that are available for Linux, which is 1,000 games at this point, are on there. Some of them are AAA, lots of indies. So, and they're working with NVIDIA and ATI on drivers to make it really compatible. And they're working with Ubisoft and a bunch of other major games publishers about releasing games for Linux, because they basically just don't want to be working within the Windows environment anymore, because it's too closed off and it's not really moving in a direction that's good for games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's some interesting things about it, NVIDIA, because they get hardware level access in their drivers pretty much if they want to, they get way better performance in SteamOS than they do on Windows with the exact same game. And so potentially this is a pretty good thing for PC gaming, at least, because even if you're not going to use it with your TV like it's designed to be, you should be getting better frame rates and just better performance. So, and it's free.
Remember back in the days when people used to just talk to each other face to face, or go outside and get exercise and shit like that,
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, apparently.
especially in this kind of weather. I'm not gonna do that.
It's cold as shit here.
Hey man, I took a nice long walk. I looked at the mountains.
I literally took my car to get coffee 2 blocks away, because I'm I'm not walking out in the snow. No way.
Fuck your legs. There's dudes in wheelchairs who are like, I wish I could walk outside.
I still feel okay.
You still
I feel
okay?
bad because I exercise like a lot because I'm like a competitive kickboxer, but I fucking do not go outside. Never.
No.
No, always inside.
Just sit and wax your mustache.
Yeah. It's all fucked up because I didn't bother to like comb it all out this morning and like wash it with shampoo, and so like
What?
this side's all curled
What was getting
forwards.
into it that you needed to wash it like that? Like a lot of dudes?
No, just yesterday's wax.
Okay.
Because
No,
I sleep on it and then it gets all fucking everywhere and
Yeah, man, that happens to me with my pubic hair. I have it looking exactly the same down there. I call it the Errol Flynn.
I've been getting a lot of when my friends and I get drunk, which is frequent. I get a lot of requests that I start shaving my pubes and waxing them into a handlebar mustache.
Just shape it into a big O so it looks like a capital Q. No? Kinda cool. I got nothing else video game wise. I don't know.
It's okay. We're gonna jump into the only other worthy topic, which is not really video game related, but rather just YouTube and content creators. So YouTube opened. Okay, so YouTube this week, some people have been describing it as a copyright apocalypse, which is not the case. But basically, affiliate channels now have to go through content ID matches, just like unnetworked channels, because networks over the last like 2 years have been abusing the system so terribly that it's opened up Google to massive lawsuits that like Viacom was going to sue them for like over $1 billion. So way to go, multi-channel networks, you fucked yourself. So affiliate channels like Underbelly, I'm assuming, no, you guys are freelance now.
Well, I mean,
you're not networked, because I know for a while you guys were networked with like
no, we
the
are
game station.
We are, but we never have a problem. Obviously, because we have so little views.
Yeah,
also
but you're an affiliate channel, and you guys don't do, but you also don't do like Let's Plays.
No, because we're not talentless fuckholes like a lot of those guys. I'm gonna just talk over video games. It's like, if I was a really big video gamer, I'd be like, man, I love video games so much. I want to watch some fucking introvert play them for me. Like, it doesn't make any sense, you know? I never understood the whole Let's Play thing, but we never had a problem because we know the rules. You know, even when the rules changed, we adapted to them.
Well, plus you guys are like all have filmmaking backgrounds, so you have basic copyright knowledge, I'm assuming.
And you would think a lot of these cats who are making as much money as they are, like, a lot of these people make a lot of money for their terrible videos.
Well, to be fair, the people who are making a lot of money are all like the managed channels. Like, this shit didn't affect Game Grumps or PewDiePie. They're managed, so they don't have to go through content.
I met that JonTron guy once, and at Barcade in Philadelphia with some other guys I really don't like from this show called Continue. And he goes, "Hey, Newt." And I go, "Oh, hey, man." Right before that, some other dude said something about the Wolverine episode we did, so I thought that he was just another one of those guys. And he's like, "Can you believe that guy doesn't know who I am?" And I turned around like, I've worked with the Angry Video Game Nerd and Brittle Floss, and I didn't know who I'd never seen their videos. They're just friends of Justin's. Like, I don't watch video game content. So that guy got all disgruntled because I didn't know who his show was. And later in the night, I told him being really popular on YouTube is like being the tallest midget. It actually doesn't mean anything in the world. Like, Nelson Mandela just died. Let's talk about that.
But that would just be a bummer, man.
No, I'm just saying, like, a lot of these people make themselves so fucking self-important.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I mostly do this podcast because, I don't know, I like doing podcasts. It's an excuse to, like, drink beer and talk to your friend for a couple hours.
Exactly.
But
there's a lot of these guys that get really self-important because they're popular on YouTube. And to be honest, like, you know, a girl doing, like, makeup tips who's got, what's that girl's name? Jenna Marbles. she's arguably more famous than like a lot of the movie stars because more people watch her on a regular basis. So yeah, I get it that the internet is the way that things are going, you know. But
the new internet is cancerous and
oh yeah,
like a damage to society because I've been involved. I guess I've been active on the internet a lot since like I was young because I played a lot of Counter-Strike. So
Okay.
like that was back in the day when people fucking used forums, not just Facebook, like pre-social media. And like all of internet culture basically since Facebook has been destroyed.
yeah,
And like it's no longer, it's not that it's this niche thing for nerds, it's that it's no longer this thing where people bother to like censor themselves or try to like contribute something useful.
yeah.
Because like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but forum culture, at least to me, like you always started off like you lurked a forum for a while, you just read shit, you knew like everyone on the forum before you ever posted anything.
Mhm.
Just to like
Now just jump up and go like fag and then run away, you know.
yeah, and now it seems like everything is just like every forum and like all of the internet is basically like 4chan,
Yeah.
where they just yell whatever they want and then that's it. They don't
That's
contribute
why I
anything.
That's why I say put your name on it. You know, even going back to the PAX thing, I didn't care that they know what I looked like or who I was because.
But
you know
even
what?
the people who put their name on it produce utter trash.
Oh yeah, but that's just because I've watched a lot of these popular shows. I got more taste in the tip of my penis than some of these shows have. You know, it's terrible what is passed for entertainment anymore and what's popular. You know, that's why I love Justin's show because it's content creation for content creators. You know, and Underbelly we're kind of sanitized. I think that towards the middle we did some good stuff, and then we kind of got away from that. But I'm biased because I'm on those things. But I mean, there's very few shows online that I like. The only show that I watch on a regular basis is Red Letter Media. I think those guys are some of the best movie reviewers out there, and that's kind of where my taste is. There's just not a lot of things that I'll watch. You know, funny
Half in
cat
the bag's
videos.
fucking awesome.
Yes, exactly. And he likes Midnight Show, so I like them even more. Yeah. So fuck a lot of these content creators. The Black Comedy Nerd, I'm completely banned from his page.
Oh my.
Yeah. And it wasn't for anything racist. I said he's racist towards his own people in the same way that Tyler Perry is racist towards black people. You know? What are you going to do? It's exploitation of his race, not appreciate it. I'm going to become a new champion for black rights.
In the internet age.
Yes, exactly. One day people are going to write songs about me. Mm-hmm.
The next
I led that down a road that you can't recover from. So.
Nope. I can't. Bob Dylan?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But it'll be like Bob Dylan's son from the Wallflowers. I don't know. I got nothing.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm confused and I woke up late. What do you want me to do?
I woke up late too. Don't worry about it. I had a final last night that ended at like 10, and I was just like, oh, let's go get drunk.
On a weekend?
Yeah.
It's Sunday.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
You have
tough.
a drinking problem. This isn't a podcast anymore. This is an intervention for you, man.
No,
This is a
man.
safe
No,
place.
last night I was drinking.
You
After
drank-
my final exam.
No,
Oh.
yeah. Who?
Yeah,
how
I
did
know.
that
I had a final exam from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. You
on
fucking...
a Saturday.
Yeah, on a Saturday. Got a fucking
Only in
problem with
Canada.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, where do you go to school? A Nazi state? Like, what is this?
It's like a kind of emerging university in Canada. I don't know.
Just
It's a
said
good university. It's just fucking there's a lot of us.
Okay. A lot
So
of
they-
Canadians that now have been granted the right to learn how to read, so they're all trying to get into school. Like,
Yeah. We didn't know how to read.
no,
So
they
now we're going to university.
Mm-mm.
Actually, there's like a lot of Americans because it's just like cheaper than
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Even if you have to pay the extra for being a foreigner.
Yeah.
Because like as a Canadian, our schooling is subsidized. So I mean like my tuition's like $3,000 a semester, which is way cheaper than I bet you're paying. But if you're like from the US, it goes up to like 20. So
per semester.
Yeah.
They pay it in syrup though.
Only in syrup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I come with like gallons of it on my back. I can't even drive it up in a truck or anything. They make you carry it.
Mm-hmm. They have to bring it right to the Prime Minister, who I think is Jan Murray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And Wayne Gretzky's there. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They all ride it on mooses.
Absolutely.
Yes. And Celine Dion shows up.
No, she's too busy in Vegas with her bad show.
I love that Canada is this magical mystery land of, fucking Narnia.
To be fair, it's a lot more like the US than you think. It's like this weird amalgamation of Britain and the US where they pass weird internet laws that are supposed to stop child pornography, but really are just to spy on us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are there a lot of child pornographers in Canada?
I don't want to go anymore.
I wouldn't think so, but it's the same. It's just like an excuse to spy on us.
Who's your daddy?
That was their excuse.
Yeah, they're like, we need to stop child pornography, so we need to know what everyone is looking at all the time.
They stopped it, but now they take like really erotic pictures of beavers and baby seal and stuff like that. It's really strange in Canada. And they think rain is evil spirits, and you can only get phone calls from Canada once a month. That's why we're having this podcast now.
Yes. Yes,
My
exactly.
version of Canada is way better than your version of Canada, I think.
My version of Canada is boring.
Mm-hmm. How's things in Edmonton? I'm a big Edmonton Oilers fan.
I wouldn't know. I don't live anywhere near there.
Oh, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
No.
Moose Factory.
I live in the only place in Canada below the 49th parallel.
Oh.
So I'm almost more American than I am Canadian, purely because I live below the border.
Yeah,
but
you'd be cooler if you're a Newfie.
I wish I was a Newfie. I've got Newfie friends. You can't understand what they're saying, but
I used to know a girl from Quebec, and she wanted like to secede, and they were all big into that. And I said to her one time, I was like, "Shh, you hear that? That's the sound of nobody in the world giving a fuck." And she got really mad. She was also a vegan, and we all went out to eat one night, and I got a big thing of chicken wings, and I ate all of them but one. And I go, "Look, Darlene, that one died for nothing." Show her who's boss.
So let's get back to this copyright thing, and then we'll just make more retarded jokes. So
I almost feel like I need a Jared behind me,
You just need someone sitting behind you to say nothing?
Yeah, just to agree, and then to call somebody an asshole so I can get banned from this as well.
We don't ban anyone. We need your views. We need you to come back eventually because you're more popular than us even.
Yeah, I'm pretty popular. I just got a call this week actually from a reality TV producer who wants to do a show about me, and I had 2 meetings with them, and it's interesting what they want to do.
Is there a lot of things you wouldn't do in it that they want you to do? Like, is it very not reality?
Yes, but I mean, I've done a reality show already. I did Comic Book Men, Kevin Smith's show. It'll be airing in February, and then I almost was on a Sci-Fi Channel show that became Fangasm, and I'm so glad that they dropped me at the last minute because that show turned into a abortion. I was in a year of pre-production with that. I went to LA twice, and they eventually realized that the nerd people had like freedom to create ideas and thoughts about what was going on, and they didn't want that. So they just hired a bunch of actors. Ooh,
sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I pulled the curtain back on that one. They're like, "Don't talk about that."
How dare you destroy my reality? I loved reality TV shows. They were totally real. Yeah. They were always real. No scripting. Ever.
I wish they would have put us on Jersey Shore,
That would make the Jersey Shore maybe bearable.
I said Justin and I become our own characters, like he's Snacky and I'm the occurrence instead of the situation. I think that'd be a good show for us. Fist bumping.
Man.
We'll paint Justin bright orange, call him Garfield because he's bright orange and he loves lasagna. So copyrights, yeah.
So the big change, obviously, is that now on YouTube, affiliate channels like Underbelly is an affiliate channel, but doesn't necessarily have this issue because they don't break copyright law.
Yeah.
But like affiliate channels like Pro Jared, like Underbelly, like Continue Show are all now subject to the content ID system, just like I've been for fucking like the last year and a half. And the content ID system is not that bad. They just have to go back and fill in the form for like 500 videos.
Yeah.
Because that's what they have to do. But I mean, if you upload a new video, you put in why you won't, like, why you're allowed to make that content, why you're allowed to monetize it, and then you're okay. It's way better than paying a fucking network 30 to 50% of your ad revenue to not fill in the form.
Are there a lot of people who aren't doing that? Like, I'm really out of the loop. I mean, I just know that in the past, a lot of people became popular and then really didn't think that the rules applied to them anymore, and I heard a lot about that. Well,
that's basically... Well, the issue is that the multi-channel networks like Polaris, like Machinima, like Full Screen Video or whatever they're called, have thousands of thousands of channels networked with them. And there's two levels of channels. There's affiliates and managed channels.
Yeah.
And affiliate channels, when they get a copyright claim, it's against the channel. And so, but they didn't used to get copyright claims because they're supposed, like, the network is supposed to deal with that. They're supposed to make sure that the channels under them aren't breaking copyright law.
Mm-hmm.
And the managed channels like PewDiePie, Game Grumps, Total Biscuit, when they get a copyright claim against them, it doesn't actually go against their channel. It goes against the network. And so if, like, you get 3 copyright strikes against managed channels in your network, the network gets shut down, ceases to exist, which is not the case with the affiliate channels.
Yeah.
But because no one ever gave a shit about what the affiliate channels were doing, which basically meant they could go do whatever they wanted. And unless someone manually made a copyright claim against them, then, which there's just too many videos on YouTube uploaded to manually go through and protect your protect your intellectual property yourself. Like, that's an impossible thing to do because there's hundreds of hours uploaded every minute. But so now basically the auto matching system that everyone who's not in a network previously was subject to, they're now subject to. And so they have to go back and just fill in the form for every one of their videos that they've uploaded that have content matches against them. Like, let's say I did a review of a video game and the company who made the video game has an automatic content ID against my, like, footage. All I have to do is say, I'm allowed to monetize this because it's a review and under fair usage, criticism is protected, and so I'm allowed to monetize this. And then it's monetized.
Yeah.
Fucking end of the world.
I believe they said Rome was burning was what Justin and Jared put on their the Silvermania page.
Yes, that is what they said.
I just wish that people would go, like, start creating original, cool content. You know, it doesn't take much even to do, you know, sit in front of a wall and talk about it. You don't have to always show visuals as long as you're giving them sweet oral. You know, I just feel like a lot of people are just lazy and are just like, I'll just show this clip and I'll talk over it in a really static way. And, you know, that's what I see a lot of stuff. I don't know. I just wish that if you were going to do a thing where you can't show video for something or video game footage, create it with something else. Do it with fucking puppets. Do it with stick figures. Do something interesting with it, you know, and show that if you're going to be a content creator, create content. Actually show your work. It's like a fucking math problem, you know?
Yeah, and then there's other stuff though, like Let's Plays. I think there's already kind of a, like, film, like, you remember when comedians used to, like, record like them riffing on movies, like, over the movie and sell that shit
and stuff like that, and, you know,
and then that shit obviously got shut down because you sold a movie with you talking over it. That's very much what a Let's Play is.
Yeah. I hate Let's Plays. I mean, that's no secret.
There's there's already precedent that shit is not protected by copyright. That is not fair use. If
But
you
how
look
many
at
guys
it,
are making a lot of money off of that?
they're like just PewDiePie and Game Grumps, I think.
Oh, really?
Pretty much. Like those two, I don't know, Toby Games or whatever his name is.
I don't know.
Some dude who made a lot of money vlogging, and then he's like, I'm gonna do a Let's Play channel, because PewDiePie made a lot of money vlogging, and now he makes a lot of money doing Let's Plays.
Mm-hmm. I wish I made a lot of money doing anything.
Man, I wish I made even a little bit of money.
Yeah. Fuck those
A
guys.
small amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
If I could make $100 a month, I fucking wouldn't. I'd be able to pay for gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody should review shows. Like
Review the review shows.
do a Let's Play show, like make it all meta and just like talk shit on them, or do the exact same thing.
There's two dudes called.
Oh.
They have a channel called Retrospectives. It's like if it's a bad racist Asian joke about saying Let's Play.
Okay. Makes more sense.
Retrospectives, and they find the worst Let's Plays that they can find, and then make fun of them.
Oh, okay.
So it's very much a thing that already exists.
Or Let's Play like you guys playing like chess or something like that, or Monopoly, like something really boring but make it sound all exciting. Or when you do the whole thing and just remove the video game footage and just show like old black and white stock footage of like that old man that gets shot in the stomach with the cannonball, or like a dog dancing in a fucking tutu or something like that, and just make it like if David Lynch tried to understand the internet. I don't know, man. I'm kind of glad that I'm not doing as much YouTube stuff anymore, because the whole kind of community, it doesn't make sense.
It's really toxic, and it doesn't make any sense. Especially the idea of calling it a community, because there's nothing like communities are somehow bound together. Like there's a relationship between communities, like, but the YouTube community is just people who make YouTube videos. Like there's nothing real. They have something in common. They make videos for the internet.
Yeah.
They don't talk to each other. There's no community there.
No, and a lot of the ones I've met, like there's been some good ones and there's been some other ones I'm like, oof, good thing you're popular. Because there's nothing going on. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? You know, we got like 60,000 followers from making our little silly videos, and we made them more or less the way we wanted to do them. We got to do some funny stuff, like, you know, I got to be Batman and like kick a baby and stuff like that, or you know, and then when I go and do stuff for Justin's show, it's a lot more free form. I can do, you know, things that I want to do, like go to the porn convention and ask them questions about Star Wars because they're all idiots. Something I couldn't do on Underbelly, or if I did do it for Underbelly, I'll just get banned from another place because, you know, they have T-shirts with our names on them. And they're like, that's the guy. I don't know. I want to keep creating content. I like creating content, but I like actually creating something. I don't just want to talk over something someone else has already done. I feel like that's really, really lazy. You know, go build a prop, build a costume, go out and put a location together, write a script. Don't just sit there and go, haha, look at that guy's green hat. I'm going to shoot him in this game. Go left. Like, that's fucking stupid, you know? Like,
yeah. I know, like, I do video game reviews on the channel where I basically just talk over footage. But the reason why I do video game reviews, though, is it's not a Let's Play, it's a review. And the reason why I do it isn't because I want to be popular for it, but because I want to work in that industry. And so, like, it's a way for me to kind of get thoughts down on paper about something, like specific.
But
like,
do you feel like criticizing something will hurt you when it comes to the industry?
No.
Really?
No. Because one, I'm not no one watches anything I do. They wouldn't know who I am.
Anything you put on the internet anymore can be searched by anyone. So, like, you know, I've had quotes about.
Well, my criticisms aren't like, I don't like this game because there's not enough naked titties. I want more naked titties. It's like I specifically don't like this like part of this mechanic, and I would prefer it to be like this way. It's like a lot. It's theoretical stuff regarding video games. And like more about their design. Like that's what the criticism was based around, but it's because it works for me in my head as like a method of just thinking about how I would like do things if I was making a game.
Right.
So it's more of an exercise. like for me than about making something entertaining for other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's also specifically kind of informative rather than entertaining. Like a lot of the comments that I've seen on my videos, especially the videos that get like watched, are games that no one even knows exist, and they're like, I saw this in the Steam sale, and like I was thinking about buying it, but there's literally no information about it. Thanks for making this video.
Yeah.
So it's not like Assassin's Creed was kind of okay, guys. You should buy it. Game of the year, 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't know. Like,
no.
I think there's a distinct difference between criticisms, even though like it's using someone else's content. It's like trying to explain it in like a higher level than a Let's Play. Or
but it's in a way that relates to you and people who are like you also into the same thing. I get that. I just like when comments that I've made in the past come back to me, and I just go, oh well, yep, I said that. What are you gonna do? I had it in a job interview. Somebody's like, we looked up your name and we said that you said this in this podcast, and I was like, wow, a lot of stuff pops up about me when you put my name into Google, eh? And that was my whole response to them, and they didn't know how to respond to that. They thought I was gonna get all defensive, but they were like, okay.
Yeah.
Just own it, man. That's all you gotta do. Because literally, like, I used to work in a lab that made like learning games, and I had to like talk to all of the people who were gonna be potentially working there because I was like one of the higher level programmers.
You were the man behind Leapfrog?
No, man, not Leapfrog. Click on the right colored block, guys. Game. I don't know. There's not a name to it. It was for like kids with like fetal alcohol syndrome disease.
Oh.
But I would like have to talk to people, and the one thing that would like really bug me, I'd be like, what's wrong with this? Like, why do you do this like this? And they're like, or like, you made a mistake here. And they're like, no, I didn't make a mistake here. That was in the template code that was given to me for like this test question that you gave me. It's like, no, you made a mistake. Just acknowledge that you made the mistake. Like, don't fucking lie to me. So, like,
yelling at them. Maybe that's why you don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
No, I don't work there anymore because the guy who like was like
the guy
owned the lab
is your girlfriend or something like
no,
that.
the guy who like ran the lab basically just like fucked off. He like disappeared. This is a lab at like a university, so it's like a research lab. And the guy who was basically running the research project left the university, so
and just vanished without a trace.
I'm pretty sure he was like siphoning funding from the university for his research project. Well, that was for his research project into his like personal graphics company.
He's like the
that was also running in the same lab that I was working in.
He's like a villain. Yeah, he's like the Green Goblin or something.
That would be a lot cooler than fat man with ponytail.
You get struck by lightning and thrown into your circuit boards and become graphics card boy and start fighting crime with graphics.
The guy who I was working for looked like Justin, while Justin still had his ponytail but without glasses.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Canadian.
No, he was actually from Idaho.
Oh.
Yeah.
You to pimp, Idaho.
Or maybe it's Ohio.
Oh, yeah, I think it's Ohio. Yeah, did you say
probably
Idaho?
Yeah. Ohio. He's from Ohio.
I don't know anything about Canada. He doesn't even know what our states are.
You have like 50 of them.
Yeah.
Isn't it 51 with Hawaii or whatever? Or
no, Hawaii is 50. Or it was 49, I think. And Alaska is 50. I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They're the freak states nobody goes to.
Yeah, those are vacation states, basically.
Yeah. I'm from Jersey, yo. That's where we represent.
We don't have any signs in Michigan.
No. Well, Detroit has a help wanted sign. Actually, no, they don't. That's the whole thing. There's no jobs. They live in fucking Mad Max times in Michigan. Just walk forward.
Hey, we got kick-ass parades, though.
There you
got
go.
Parades.
Yeah, we got Thanksgiving.
In Philly, they have the mummers every year who look like gay peacocks, and they strut down the street drunk the Philadelphia on parades, and then they apparently had a big prostitution sting recently where all these old Irish men were like banging disgusting prostitutes from like West Philly. So that's something.
For Thanksgiving, actually not for Thanksgiving, but for Christmas, the fire department drives the fire trucks down the street
With Santa on it.
Yeah, sometimes. That's our Christmas parade.
That's not bad.
That's our big parade.
Is there like a different Santa Claus in Canada? He's like Terry O'Reilly, like.
No, he's the same guy. Megyn Kelly will be pleased. He is white.
Of course, thank God.
Yeah.
I just think that she was freaked out by the idea of a black guy coming into her house in the middle of the night. You know, Fox News is like that.
Yeah.
I love Fox News because there's no way that they can actually believe some of the things they say. I have to believe that they're all performance artists. And if that turns out to be true, it would be awesome. But
I'm pretty sure it's the case because, like, Fox hires on some of the best, I guess, like, rising news talent in the U.S., like, people who actually do real reporting and real research as a journalist. And they do produce some of the best news, like, in the country. But then you get the Fox and Friends shit. And I'm just like, how can you go from, we've done, like, now, note that when I say they do some of the best articles, like, some of the best news in the country, like, they're given from, like, the journalists, like, they're given awards in journalism for some of the shit that they don't put on TV alongside Bill O'Reilly. Like...
Well, and Glenn Beck, who cries and calls everybody a Nazi when I don't really actually think he knows what the National Socialist Party was. It's great, though. I watch Fox News sometimes just to, like, get my blood going because they make me so angry. But then you have to remember who they're catering to. Like you said, you're catering to a video game clientele. They're catering to, like, the buckle of the Bible Belt, you know, like directly in the middle of the Bible Belt. It's people who think that Obama's personally going to kick open their front door and take their guns from them, you know, and try to make their kids black.
That is basically what Obamacare was about.
Yeah.
Giving you shots that make you black.
Yes, or gay.
Black and gay.
Black and, which is the most specious of the group, I can imagine. I don't know. People are nuts. I'm going to go live in Canada.
It's great here. We just have...
handlebar mustache and fucking Raleigh fingers it up and take your job.
I don't have a job.
Oh, well, I'm going to take your non-job and get some of that sweet health care.
We do have sweet health care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just have to pay for it.
That's all right. Well, here you
I have to pay, like, I don't know, like $80 a month.
Oh, $80 a month.
Well, that's only because I'm young.
And
I don't know. It depends on where, like, you're living. Every province has their own healthcare, so.
Well, that's cool. We're learning something about Canada today.
It's better than the U.S.'s situation.
Yeah.
Which is abysmal.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it kind of sucks, but, you know, what are you going to do? I didn't run for president this year.
Run next year?
I will.
I guess 2 more years, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple more years. I was going to run this year just to get the element of surprise. I'm like the Pearl Harbor. They never saw me coming.
You guys got some amazing candidates.
Yeah.
Newt Gingrich. Or...
old white guy who's out of touch with the middle class.
Older white guy. My favorite one was old white guy who's secretly Mexican.
Those, you have to be careful with them. They'll cut your head off and leave you at the border.
God, what's the name of the dude who ran against Obama last time?
McCain.
Not McCain.
John McCain, yeah.
No, that's before the like.
John McCain was with the crazy religious woman.
Yeah, he was with Sarah Palin, but that was 2 elections ago. The last election. Mormon dude.
George Foreman.
Mormon.
John Kerry. No.
I should know. Man,
he's already a footnote.
Yeah, literally no one knows who he is anymore. Doesn't matter. The point is, he was a first generation American, and his family was actually Mexican.
Oh.
And he's like, we need to close the border, make sure those Mexicans don't get in, build a big fence.
He looked like the bad guy in every 70s blaxploitation movie, though. So every time I saw that guy on TV, I was like, "Look out, Dolomite!" Go Wikipedia Dolomite, you'll get that joke.
So, on Thursday night, I went and saw The Hobbit.
Oh,
which was, it was okay. It was very much like a middle movie. Like, it suffers from picking up where the last movie left off, and so like it doesn't create like a new narrative, but it also doesn't like give you like any payoff at the end, especially because, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but the movie ends like with only 2 chapters of the book left.
Really?
Yeah. Like there's maybe 20 minutes of movie left. So I don't know how they're gonna make a third 3-hour movie.
Oh, that's right. Well, it's already done though, isn't it? They're just it's all editing now.
Shot all 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
They could have done it in 2 movies, but they
wanted to take out all the good stuff, or well, not necessarily the good stuff, but they wanted to take out all the stuff that they deemed it didn't matter, and then make up random romances with some elf with a dwarf fetish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I heard that the dragon's really cool though. Smog is really cool, and the new characters they added for this one are better. I actually fell asleep like 4 times during The Hobbit. I just was not interested. I liked Fellowship of the Ring is a great movie. I like elements of Two Towers. I wasn't particularly crazy about Return of the King just because it just felt like we're gonna try to win that Oscar, and all the fake endings and shit like that. But Hobbit just did nothing for me. Like, I didn't need 45 minutes of elves juggling plates. I was like,
yeah,
whatever. But then again, the Harry Potter, the last movie, the one right before it, they split it into 2, and one whole movie was just fucking kids sitting in the woods talking to each other. And I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what? Remember when
like there's no payoff for the movie at all. You're just like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Peter Jackson has literally become the new George Lucas, I think. Like, it's all CGI over story anymore, where it used to be the opposite. So,
Yeah. So the reason why I brought up
it's and it saved it because a lot of those kids books, young adult books that have been making into movies, like the Ender's Game, that failed miserably. Maybe because that dude hates gay people and was very vocal about it. So that
he also hates blacks. Did you not see he released a short story, a sci-fi short story, just before Ender's Game came out, about how Obama was going to organize all of the black street gangs to kill all the white people.
That would be an awesome movie. That would be such an awesome. I would go pay a lot of money to see that movie. It'd be like The Warriors mixed with that movie, White Man's Burden with John Travolta. I would check that out. Fucking Rockstar Games could make a lot of money off that, Helter Skelter, the game. That'd be awesome.
So the reason why I brought up the Hobbit movie that I went to go see on opening night was because I saw there was cosplaying by this one group, and it was the strangest cosplaying I've ever seen in my life because it wasn't related to the Hobbit at all.
They were dressed as characters from Snakes on a Plane.
No, then they would have just looked kind of normal.
Oh.
One of them was like dressed as a succubus. That's not in Middle Earth, is it? Am I missing something? Like,
not that I know of.
I'm confused. Another person just like painted themselves red. I'm like, none of this is related to the movie that you're about to see. Like, generally when you go see a movie, if you cosplay as like shit related to the movie. No, not these people. They're just like, it's nerdy to dress up like fantasy characters. Let's dress like fantasy characters.
Which is why we need to bring bullying back.
Yep.
And if a couple little girls drink bleach, that's not my problem.
Has that always been a thing? Like dressing up to go to the movies? I know like midnight releases is like a big thing, but I mean,
I ran movie theaters for 12 years. The first movie I ever worked was Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And people were dressed up like crazy for that. We had people dressed up for bunch of different things.
I think in geek culture, like, it's very much kind of a normal thing because cosplaying exists in it. But the appropriation of geek culture by, like, I guess the mainstream has kind of missed the point of a lot of it and sort of completely fucked it up. Like on Thursday night.
Ren Fair people with nothing better to do. You know, I was going to go to a movie dressed as the Joker in Colorado, and look how that turned out. Oh. Shot in the dark with that joke.
Oh, man.
Like the media that it was red hair. Like, when did the Joker ever have red hair? Come on. Let's get your fucking references right, you know? He could have been Poison Ivy.
That's true.
Or Barbara
Bender. Hey,
yeah. I don't know. That whole thing pissed me off too. Then they start, you know, the same media that's gonna make fucking Angry Birds, Star Wars, M&M's commercials is now like people who see these Batman movies are clearly gonna be turned into killers. Like, yeah, because the superhero who's most identified with being against the gun is the one that we're gonna turn into the bad guy in this situation. Like, go fuck yourself, you know? But people have been dressing up. If you watch like documentaries about like Star Wars going back to like 1977, people were dressed up in line for that, like as fucking aliens and stuff like that. And people have been going to Star Trek conventions since the early 70s in costumes and whatnot. So cosplay has always been a thing. I think it's just way bigger now. I don't like cosplay very much. I respect what a lot of them are doing, but I've met a lot of cosplayers in the Philadelphia area who are fucking crazy. Like the whole Doctor Who thing. I don't get Doctor Who in any way, shape, or form. Like I like the old Doctor Who that was like really bad special effects and was kind of fun. Now it's like it's so dreamy and romantic, and you just have these fucking people who've just co-opted it. And they're like, I'm tried and true nerd. It's like, no, you're not. You watched some show one time and you fucking put on a pair of glasses and a fez. Now you're super nerd. Go fuck yourself. Like, you know. I'm going to start going places dressed as something that has nothing to do with anything. Like, I'm going to start going, like, fucking openings of hip-hop movies dressed as a Quaker. Just to, you know.
Go to football games with, like, neither of the teams' jerseys on.
No, I'll go to a football game.
With a hockey jersey on?
Yeah, you know, or just completely nude, you know.
No, you'll fit right in then, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean. You know, I've been in a couple locker rooms myself. I'd do some things I wasn't proud of. It's like, he's the biggest guy on the team. I was like, he sure is. So The Hobbit wasn't very good, huh?
It's not that it's a bad movie. It's just like the middle movie.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorite movies ever. So, and that's Godfather 2, Dark Knight, Terminator 2,
The Dark Knight is not my favorite out of the new Batmans.
I didn't really like. That's the only one I liked. But had Heath Ledger not died, I don't think people would remember that movie as fondly.
No, I don't think so at all.
Like, I liked Batman Begins until you got to the third act where it became a James Bond movie, and he's like, I'm going to vaporize all of your water.
Yeah, like, that was kind of silly, but I still liked the narrative tie-in of 1 to 3.
Yeah, so. See, I hated the third movie. Everything other than Bane and Catwoman, I thought was completely useless. He's like, I'm going to give up being Batman because I'm happy now, and I'm going to give the keys to the waterfall to the boy from Third Rock from the Sun. Good luck. You're going to get raped on the first night because you have no ninja training. You know, anybody can be Batman. No, that's not true. That's why Robin, you know, Dick Grayson couldn't continue to be Batman. That's why Azrael couldn't be Batman. Like, people have tried it in the past, but there's clearly one person who's driven, and they never made it one. Like, he totally forgot his parents were murdered, and he was just okay with it in those movies. And he was never Batman. He was just a guy in a tactical suit. Like, they never once, it was like, he dresses that way to scare criminals. They never did it that way. Like, in the first movie, they kind of played off fear a little bit, but then they went away from it, you know?
Yeah, that's they completely ignored it for the last 2 movies.
Yeah, and, you know, the second movie, it was well-paced and well-acted, so I got it. But the third movie, the whole time I was watching it, I was, like, asking questions to the screen, and people around me were getting upset. And at the end, like, when the way it ends, I'm just like, oh, fuck. Like, and Chris Nolan falls in love with his own tropes in movies. Like, you see a lot of things repeat themselves, And I expected like Alfred at the end of the movie to spin the little top from the end of Inception because they kind of had the exact same ending almost. I'm actually really glad that what's his face, Zack Snyder's taking over Batman because they could actually make like a comic book version of Batman. Not everything has to be super realistic. You know, I'm excited to see an older Batman who's already had his adventures. Fucking Jason Todd will be dead. Villains are already established. I never in a Batman movie want to see the pearls ripped off in an alley and stuff like that. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that Superman comes from Krypton and Krypton exploded. Everybody knows that Batman saw his parents get killed. We're done. Just move on. Do fucking Clayface. Do Mr. Freeze the right way. Do other things, you know?
That's kind of why I want to see the Justice League movie because, like, I like Justice League a lot more than I like Avengers because Marvel sucks.
I haven't seen Thor 2 yet.
I haven't seen it yet either, and apparently it's, like, much better than the first one, I guess.
I like the first one, actually, because it felt more... Like, I don't like the Earth stuff as much. Reading the comics as a kid, I was never a fan of the Earth stuff. I love the Asgard stuff because it's cool to do, like, a sci-fi fantasy story. And Jack Kirby's artwork as a kid was one of my favorite things of all time. So that's pretty cool. And plus, I have a giant crush on Natalie Portman. So anything that she's in, I tend to be a fan of. And that dude who's Thor is pretty fucking dreamy. Like, I'm not gay, but I was like, that is a handsome dude. Same thing with the new Superman. When he had his shirt off, I was like, I would fuck him. Actually, I'd let him fuck me, probably, because he's too good for that, you know, and push these together and let him do his thing, you know?
He got that part because of Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, which got released like 5 years after it was made.
Yeah, very... Well, you know, you release a movie 5 years after it's been made so that you can go make hundreds of millions of dollars working for Disney.
But he was Captain Kirk's dad in the Star Trek reboot.
Was he?
Yeah, in the very beginning, he's Kirk's dad.
I haven't watched the Star Trek reboot in a while because the Star Trek reboot is like not a great Star Trek movie, if that makes sense. Because like Star Trek's about like space exploration, and these movies are like space adventures, I guess. I don't know.
Instead of science, it's science fiction, it's science fantasy. I was never a Star Trek fan growing up. Like, I liked The Next Generation a lot growing up because it just came out in a time when I liked seeing special effects on TV and I didn't know any better. You know, but I thought for not really knowing as much other than what you know through assimilation from pop culture, I thought that the 2009 Star Trek was fun because it was like all the tropes that make the Star Trek fans happy, but just fucking like on crack. So everything was like hyperdrive. But I can see why people really didn't like Into Darkness because I do know Wrath of Khan so well, and I just felt like it was like there was nothing
strange.
And there was nothing between those two characters to make there be any, you know, conflict. So when Spock yells Khan, I laughed in the theater. I was sitting next to Sean from Underbelly, and he's like, "Why would you laugh at that?" I was like, "Because it was stupid. Like, there's no reason to do that at that point, you know?"
There's no built up, I guess, relation between the characters. It's just like, he's a man who, for some reason, wants to kill us all.
Yeah, because like Seeds of Destruction, the Star Trek episode that Khan first was in, they set up a backstory between those two. I don't know. But I am excited to see J.J. Abrams take on Star Wars because
I think he'll do a better job at it just because of like kind of the theming and like the way that the Star Trek movies were done, I think applies much better to Star Wars than it does like Star Trek.
He's in an advantageous position the same way that Chris Nolan was taking over Batman from Joel Schumacher. After your expectations are so low, anything is better than that. You know, like, so I feel like he can bring something, and I heard he's more of a Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan. So it'd be kind of cool, you know. I would have actually liked to see the dude who did District 9 take it over because he's got like this real earthy look to science fiction. I thought that would be kind of cool because like Elysium wasn't a great movie, but it looked really good. You know, so
who is that, by the way? Do you know?
No, I don't.
IMDb.
Yeah, really. I can see his name in my head. I just can't. Yeah, I don't know.
We talked about this a little bit when Justin and Jarrett were on the podcast the other week. There were not a lot of good movies this year. but then like not ones that you would think would really like define the year. Like you would have thought Iron Man 3 would like define 2013 as like the big blockbuster of the year. It was awful.
I liked it more than Iron Man 2. I honestly liked what they did with the Mandarin, and a lot of people are like, oh, you clearly don't understand comics then. I was like, it's a racist fucking character that it needs all this other backstory to really get into things. It was cool the way they used them. Like, I think that it's creative for somebody to take that character and the basis of it, or like the core of it, and then spin it into something else that works in a story with the extremist story. I liked it, and it felt like an 80s buddy cop movie. Like, it felt like Die Hard, or it felt like Lethal Weapon or something like that just so happened to have Iron Man in it. And that dude's charming as fuck. The entire Marvel universe is built around Robert Downey Jr. being a charming actor, you know?
Basically, I don't know. I just don't like the Iron Man movies that much.
Okay, see, the first one is almost a perfect superhero movie.
Yeah, I think the first one's really great. And I mean, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I didn't like the second one much. I didn't like the third one much. I liked the Avengers, but I feel like for different reasons than everyone else did. Because everyone else was like, explosions with lots of superheroes. I'm like, yeah.
I didn't like the Loki pokey stick. I thought that was pretty stupid. The Avengers doesn't really get going until they get off the helicarrier and they get to the city. Like, the entire movie could have been the last 20 minutes, and I would have been happy with it, because you have that one tracking shot where it goes around all of them in a circle, and it just reminded me of being a little kid, like imagining what a superhero movie would look like, a giant superhero movie would look like. But a lot of the bickering stuff and all the stuff with Loki, I could care less about it, you know?
Yeah. So
I'm excited for Days of Future Past, though. That looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Is that the trailer for that movie with Tom Cruise in it?
No.
No, it's X-Men.
That's the X-Men 2.
Oh, X-Men 2. Sorry. Yeah. I was totally lost because I was like, the fuck?
Oh, After Tomorrow, which is just 12 Monkeys meets Oblivion meets Elysium with Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Tom Cruise, too. Little couch jumping.
So, I wanted to bring up the reason why I kind of mentioned there weren't a lot of good movies this year. I watched Prisoners this week. With Hugh Jackman and Jake
Gyllenhaal, yeah.
Gyllenhaal. That movie was really good. But I think that's the best movie I've seen this year. Yeah,
except the ending was a little bit of a letdown. Like, it was so well crafted until the ending, and then it just kind of fell apart. You know, I like
the last 30 seconds of that movie though, where like you just faintly hear the whistle in the back, and Jake like blows it off like twice, and he's like looks at the car, and it just ends. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that was like a pretty good way to end that movie. Yeah. Like, don't end it on the he found him. Like, everything's okay.
Hugh Jackman's a great actor, though, man. Like, that dude's going all Benjamin Buttons. Like, he's aging backwards. He looks younger now than he did in X-Men 2. It's like, whoa. You know what other movie I just watched recently that was a lot of fun because it was so stupid? Escape Plan with Schwarzenegger and Stallone. That was a lot of fun. It was so dumb, but I was like, you know what? That was a fun hour and a half of my time, you know?
I haven't watched that yet. I should probably watch it. I watched Insidious 2 last night, which was pretty good.
Oh, really? I heard it was bad.
Okay, the narrative suffers because it's a sequel, but I like that a lot of the music in that movie, or well, I guess they're more like tones than music, but
ominous tones, like forgetting Sarah Marshall.
It feels like an old horror movie. Like, it takes a lot of cues from The Exorcist, I feel like, at least with its audio.
The first movie was literally a cut and paste. It was Poltergeist 2, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and the demon looked like Darth Maul. They literally just cut and pasted things together and made a movie.
There's nothing more that you can do in horror, I feel like. It's like completely original.
I don't think that's true at all. Like, a friend of mine just made a movie called Contracted, which I think is one of the most original horror movies of years. And like Howard Stern just talked about it recently, about how much he enjoyed it. It's a fear on the part of studios and people in general to try anything outside of their comfort zone. But I feel like sometimes things work, and then it breaks through and it creates all these, you know, well, the other movie that guy did, who did Insidious, The Conjuring.
The Conjuring was awesome.
It's totally like a throwback, but that was a good movie. Like I thought that was well crafted, and it actually had some legitimately kind of creepy moments in it, which is really hard to find in the age of fucking Paranormal Activity 11 or Saw 16 or something like that. You know.
Well, okay. I feel like I should better explain my stance on Insidious 2. It's not a great movie. But like, I feel like when you compare it to everything else that comes out, besides The Conjuring, as of recent, for like big horror movies that come out, I think it's better than Paranormal Activity and all that other shit, which is funny because it's still the same guy.
Yeah.
But
that dude just makes like 6 movies a year. He's like Robert Rodriguez at this point.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know, Insidious 2 was better than Insidious 1, at least in like its atmosphere, I guess. Like it felt more like an older horror movie than Insidious 1 did.
Yeah. I like that actor who's in it, who's also in The Conjuring. He's also in Watch Hard Candy. He's pretty good. But I really haven't, I've avoided things like the Carrie remake because it's like, all right, they're just going to remake the original movie, but they're going to talk about Facebook in it. And I wouldn't go see Old Boy because fuck Spike Lee, it's like,
Plus, at least for like the reviews that I read of that movie, if you've seen Old Boy, then there's nothing there for you. Like it's just it's just a worse version of a movie you've watched.
Exactly.
Have you guys seen VHS or VHS 2?
I like the second one more than the first one. I felt like I don't like the shaky cam thing, and but the second one had some interesting pieces to it. The first one I thought that was like, it just looked very cheap. Like if you're gonna do something, I don't know, I would have done it differently, and I wouldn't have used digital. I would have actually shot it on VHS. Like I would have done something cool like that and made it look dated. Because if it's called VHS, but like the one thing that took place in the hotel room with the girl was like a vampire or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so everything's modern, but they're shooting it on a VHS camera? How does that work? Like at least call it mini DV or something like that,
I think the second
Firewire.
Yeah.
The second one improved on a lot of things that the first was missing though, and I think like the story just tied together a lot better in the second one. Because there really wasn't a story in the first one besides it was just a bunch of tapes, and then the second one, I don't know, I liked it, but I think
the alien kind of cool.
The alien one?
Yeah, the dude, the girl. Yeah. That was the guy who made Hobo with a Shotgun, I think, directed that one. I thought that one was pretty well done.
Like, the zombie one was probably my favorite from the second one.
Oh, the handheld, head thing.
That's just such a crazy idea that I was just like...
That's also very strange for VHS. Why do they have GoPros?
Exactly, yeah. They call it POV or something like that, I don't know.
SD
I just
card.
felt like they only called it VHS to like cater to the hipster crowd, I think. It's like, it's better on
VHS is the new vinyl.
Yeah, exactly. I said that to somebody at work the other night, and they just gave me a dirty look.
So that doesn't even make sense because, like, the whole reason why you go back to vinyl is because of, like, an argument related to sound quality.
Exactly.
I think VHS is objectively worse than DVD.
Yeah.
And most definitely worse than Blu-ray.
But we watch it, it's something we remember fondly from when we were kids going to mom and pop video stores and something like that. I mean, I managed
Plus, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but I mean, I managed a Blockbuster at one point. And it was terrible. So, but nobody, the VHS, ABCs of Death, stuff like that, Chillerama, the anthology film is coming back, and that's why I kind of think that Midnight Show can have a fighting chance because it feels like an anthology where you're getting more for your money because there is so many segments and they're so different, and so hopefully we can capitalize off of that wave and get the movie done in the next few months so it's ready to go.
Have you guys seen Thanksgiving?
No.
Ugh.
Yes, I saw it.
Oh man.
We watched it.
That was painful.
In the very, very early days of Underbelly, we used to just all get together and watch movies in Justin's basement. And Thanksgiving was one of the ones that we watched, and it made me so angry that guy got funding. and got released, yet I can't. So a lot of the projects I've been working on are directly based on my just anger that came out of watching Thanksgiving.
The problem with that movie is that it tries to be like a funny bad horror movie, but it isn't funny because it's trying to be.
Exactly. That's the same. A lot of these movies, like,
and then they did another one. They didn't do Thanksgiving 2. They just did Thanksgiving 3, Turkeys in Space.
Yeah.
As like, I get the joke. It's referring to like Jason.
Yeah. Well,
whatever.
No, Leprechaun went to space as well.
Well, yeah, but I think that was also a joke based on Jason going to space.
But I always to call that Jason movie Apollo the 13th. I think that would have been a better title for it. But I think they were kind of capitalizing off Spaceballs. Spaceballs 3 was supposed to be called Spaceballs 3: The Search for Spaceballs 2, which would have been the greatest title of ever of any movie. But I don't know. I like when people like really try hard to make a good movie and it turns out terrible. That's a fun bad movie to watch, you know?
Yeah.
So,
like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
The original one?
I didn't watch the original one. I only watched number 2, where the first 45 minutes is a recap of the original. So, I mean, who fucking cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Me and my friend who watched it, thinking about watching Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. See how much of number 3 they recap.
Yes. Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, though, has an evil toy maker in it whose name is Joe Petto, which I thought was fantastic.
That's going to have to happen next week, then.
I'm thinking
Christmas
about
movie marathon, Silent Night, Deadly Nights, all week.
You could do Elves, Do Not Open Till Christmas, Black Christmas. There's a lot of good.
The original or the new one? I watched the new one. It was awful. Yeah,
the original one is a lot of fun. It's got Margot Kidder is in it from Superman, Olivia Hussey from the Zeffirelli version of Romeo and Juliet, where she's like 16, she shows her boobs. I remember seeing that as a teenager and being like, "What?" Yeah, that's a fun movie though. It's directed by Bob Clark, who went on to do Baby Geniuses, which is one of the worst movies ever made. But like back in the day, he made good movies in Canada. So you know.
Vancouver, man. It's the Hollywood of the North.
Yeah, it's it's where the X-Files used to film.
It's where Microsoft is.
That's right.
And EA.
Oh. Well.
All those great video game companies.
That's right. Oh, Microsoft.
They're apparently really good to work for. So.
Better than Apple?
Yeah, a lot better apparently.
Everybody wanted to work for Steve Jobs except his pancreas. Because he died of pancreatic cancer.
I get it. Did you? I watched that fucking Ashton Kutcher movie, Jobs. Oh my god, the amount of like stuff that they just get wrong, like factual stuff that they just don't get right. I don't know how.
It's an Ashton Kutcher movie. Like I kept expecting like Medea to show up at some point. Like
it's not even his fault though. It's purely whoever the fuck wrote this doesn't know what actually happened, because it's supposed to be like a movie about the start of Apple. It's because it doesn't talk about Steve Jobs relating to anything but Apple. That fucker like started and ran Pixar.
Nice.
Like he did a ton of other stuff besides Apple. In fact, the least successful thing he ever did in his life was goddamn Apple. Especially at the beginning, where it was successful, but he wasn't involved at all. Like, that movie should have been called Wozniak, and been about Steve Wozniak, and how he actually did shit.
Wozniak. Imagine putting that on a marquee. Spell that shit right. So yeah, it's been a fun year. It's been a fun year of movies.
Yeah, I wish something particularly good came out. Like, I don't know, the Gravity was awesome, but
I didn't see that one yet. I'm like way behind on movies, so I have to catch up at some.
Gravity is very much like a visual spectacle where it's I feel like that's the first movie that I've seen in a really long time where it's like a theater screen is like a necessity almost. My biggest thing is
I don't particularly like George Clooney or the Blind Side lady. from Demolition Man.
I don't understand why no one likes Sandra Bullock, because she's like not a bad actress. She just
but
sometimes does movies where she has to be a cunt.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're putting two high-profile known actors like that into a movie, you're negating any chance of tension building, because you know that they're famous people and you know that they're acting and you know that they're going to be okay, everything's going to be fine. But it's like,
well,
no, I understand. I know the ending.
Then you know, spoiler alert, George Clooney dies in fucking 10 minutes.
But I'm saying, like, if you put two unknown actors in that, there would be more resonance with the audience, I think, because they'd be like, whoa, like, you know, you'd be sucked into the story a little bit more, saying that, like, oh, the gay Batman just got killed in a green screen. You know what I mean? Like that movie Open Water that came out in 2003 that was about the people stuck in the water with the sharks. They were two unknown actors. I felt more resonance for that because, like, okay, like something like this.
Because they have to kill them, or well, not because they have to, but because they can.
Yeah,
like if Brad Pitt was in that situation, his character has to survive.
Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. I tend to like when you use unknown people and stuff like that, because then you're kind of sucked into the story a little bit more, you know? But what do I know? That's why I'm sitting in Tucson and not in fucking Hollywood doing coke off like some stripper's ass or something like that, you know? Coke off a stripper's ass, the Newt Wallen story. There you go. And on that note,
we best get right in that.
Yeah, you guys can write my story. It'll be like the Steve Jobs movie. Get everything wrong.
I'll do my best.
I was the boy prince of Atlantis at one point or something.
You played Wolverine in the movie Wolverine.
Yes. Sex Men First Ass, the porn version. Mm-hmm.
So,
you know what my adamantium claw came from? I love the dead silences we're having. It's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's a lot of chemistry here. We're just flowing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's mostly because we keep accidentally interrupting each other and then just stopping.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
I'll just sit quietly.
Oh, you don't have to.
No.
So, I was going to say, we don't really have anything else to talk about. Like, nothing really lined up. So, if you guys... Do you got anything to get off your chest, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm pissed off because they announced something about the new Rainbow Six, and I'm pretty sure that it's just being delayed until further notice.
It's not. That's not what they announced. They announced that they restarted the game because everyone's like, "Where is it?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we fucked it up so badly in early development that we can't make a good game out of it. So we're starting over."
You should add Rainbow Bright to it. The 80s character Rainbow Bright to Rainbow Six. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, they should just take a whole new turn on it and just make it the most colorful shooter there's ever been, and just make it in like a magical land. I don't know. I'd be happy with it.
There you go. Like fucking
Robot Unicorn 6.
Yeah, but with guns and first person or third person interchangeably. So
with tactical rainbow guns.
Yeah.
That shoot hearts and candy.
Yeah.
Or just knock on the door of Lisa Frank's house and just shoot her in the face, you know?
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't know. Frostivus is happening, but I don't really want to talk about that.
Are you just mad because of Dota 2?
Dude, that's all I've been playing, and it's bad. I've been actually reading a book. Wow.
On Dota 2?
No.
Okay.
My spare time. Because I actually have time to do stuff now. But yeah.
You got anything? Anything you got to yell about? Anything you hate?
I think I've yelled a lot. So go to Midnight Show Movie on Facebook and like it.
Yeah, like Midnight Show on Facebook.
Amber's home. Where's Amber? There she is. That's these guys who are interviewing me for a podcast. That's my girlfriend, Amber.
Hi, Amber.
All I saw was like...
We're people no one knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you interviewed her brother, so...
Yeah, we talked to Justin.
No, I don't have actual friends.
Actual friends suck. Who needs actual friends?
I just sit alone with the cat and cut myself while listening to Evanescence music or something.
Oh, man. I remember when those were people.
So
those were people listened to.
Yeah. go and like my Facebook page for the movie, and you can put on there that you guys sent them. That'd be kind of cool. That's about it.
Yeah.
Anything else offensive I can say before we're done?
You can literally say anything you want. We don't care.
Anything I want.
Uh-oh.
You know what? I'm going to take that back because Justin, I know in the email said you can say anything you want, which
Yes.
scared me because he does say anything he wants sometimes. One time we played Magica together.
Oh.
And he kept like changing his character's name to the N-word. And I like had to blur it out.
They kept changing it to Newt, the N-word?
Yes, Newt. That's what they changed it to.
Yeah. I'm the N-word to some people.
It was great when he couldn't, like, the game like bugged out and he couldn't change his name back.
or so he told us.
Yeah, of course. That's always the case.
It's always the case.
I meant to put nagger. I was saying you guys were nagging me.
He was saying that we were niggardly, as in cheap.
Yes.
I got in a bar fight one night because my friend said that word while we were talking, and some people wouldn't listen to me about its actual meaning.
Let's not even go there right now. Yeah.
It's touchy ground.
Little bit, yeah. Especially in our country, man. You guys don't have all that guilt that we have.
Only towards the Japanese.
Yeah, well, you know.
World War
They
II.
built a good railroad. Oh wait, that was the Chinese built the railroads. Whatever.
No, World War II. We sent our Japanese to containment camps and kept them there until 1950.
Yeah, they had a good time.
It was super awesome. We took away their homes and all of their possessions, sent them away, told them they could never come back.
Some of them tried to trick you by duct taping their eyes like this, and they're like, "No, not us, eh?"
Amazing.
I don't know. Mr. Ho Chin doesn't look Italian.
So I think we should probably wrap this up before any of us say anything really bad. The Holocaust didn't happen.
Oh no, it did.
It did. Justin just says that almost every time he comes on this podcast.
I know it happened because Steven Spielberg made some movies about it that made me all depressed.
Yep.
The Boy in the Striped Pajamas was sad. I'm just gonna start naming Holocaust movies now until you cut my microphone.
I would have to just close the entirety of Skype because they took out all of the good functionality it used to have, like the ability to individually mute people.
So what we learned from today is racism is bad, sexism is bad, monetizing video games is good.
If you own copyright, I don't know.
Copyright, that's right.
If it's within fair usage, we learned Let's Plays are bad.
Yeah, so I think everybody learned something today.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that.
Well then, we will wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching and or listening on this here day to the 42nd episode of the Dapper Gaming Podcast with me, your host, Ryan.
Oh, we
Tyler.
missed the joke. We're talking about racism and you're 42, and Jackie Robinson was the first black baseball player. We totally...
Damn it. With me, your host, Ryan. As always, Tyler. We've got to end this eventually. We can't keep stopping this.
It has to go this way too, or else we don't end it.
Yeah, it has to end like this. And then our special guest, Newt, down there underneath me
in Tucson.
While also in the video, you're underneath me.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was pointing down like that.
Oh, well.
This is how this whole thing works. It doesn't really get the same effect in the audio version of the podcast where there is no video and they just hear me talking and not the pointing. They don't.
Imaginations are for it.
It's fucking theater of the mind, man.
They can do whatever they want. Yes, with special guest Newt, formerly or I guess currently still of Underbelly.
It's like purgatory.
And those 2 episodes of Silvermania that were really good.
Mm-hmm.
And Midnight Show, which you should most definitely go and like on Facebook. And there will be a link to it in the description of this video. And or if it's the video and if it's the audio podcast, it'll be in the description of that too.
There you go. So I expect all 7 people who watch your show to go like it.
Yes. Those 7 people need to go and do that. Man, we're a top 100 video game podcast on Podomatic. There's like 30,000 video game podcasts in there.
Oh.
None of them post anymore. I think that's why we're top 100. With our like 40 downloads a month.
Oh,
or
nice.
a week.
It's more than I have.
More than a few thousand people have.
There you go.